I wanted to make a really quick video on infinity versus limited thought systems and how those move here. Because one of them allows sort of force to happen and justifies it, and one of them it's not as necessary, if at all. So for instance, in the physical world, if something is trying to force something else to happen, and even with not involving like a being having intentions about making something happen, just something in the natural world, like a rock is rolling down a hillside and it comes up into contact with another rock, right? Like, that's essentially an argument, because the realm is composed of mind, and matter is also composed. It's all composed of mind. It's all thought forms vibrating at different frequencies. So if a rock is rolling down a hill, and of course, you know, you can bring in the, if a rock rolls down the hill and there's no one there to watch it, is it still rolling down the hill argument? It's still applicable. But anyway, if a rock is rolling down a hill and it comes and meets another rock, well, the first rock is having a debate with the second rock, and he's essentially saying, you're gonna move. I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna bounce off. You're gonna move. Now, the second rock, you know, may or may not win the argument. The second rock could be, you know, smaller than the first one, but it could be denser material. So maybe the second rock is denser material and the first rock hits it and explodes. That's a possibility. So then the second rock won the argument by nature of his composition. Or the second rock could be bigger, but lighter than the first rock, or less dense, right? So first tiny rock hits up against the second rock, and the second rock's like, all right, I'm flying off. You win. But they're essentially having an argument. And when it applies back to humans and intentions, and a lot of times intentions are not involved, because intentions require a high level of awareness in the human components that are interacting, and a lot of what goes on here in this realm is sort of unconscious interaction. So it's just that those types of interactions are governed by the system itself rather than the intents of the humans involved. But if your thought structure is governed by a finite model, in other words, it's governed by a start and ending model, and you know, a final resolution model, then it allows for other thought forms to influence it in the form of force. Because force is always reducing down options in any given situation. It's reducing down the options to maybe one or two. Take, for instance, the two-party political system. That's a very good example of finite thought forms being imposed on the populace. You have two choices. Here's your free will. Choice A or choice B. Right? Because it's working with a finite system, and it has your thoughts located within that finite system. So all of the ways that the two-party system may apply to your mental landscape, whether it be called the United States or the world, it still crunches down your mind and to fit inside of that model. And it makes possible for force. Because again, force, even physical force, all it is doing is it's limiting the possibility spectrum for any given situation. And if there is choice happening or not, if the possibility spectrum is limited down to two choices, or if it's a really forcing situation, then the other side is essentially saying, look, you're gonna move, period, end of story. And here I'm physically trying to move you, you know, and they either win or they don't win. But it's always an argument, and it's one side saying this must happen, this is the only option, and this will happen, and you're not going to do anything about it. And you, if you are in that limited thought form construct, then there's a good chance that their argument will make sense, and you will just move. You will acquiesce. If you're in if you are in infinite thought form realm, then anything that is saying this must happen or else is essentially a joke to you. You see it for what it is. We're getting some hail. Yes. You see it for what it is, and usually the option that's being offered as the only option is, of course that option should not happen. You know, like, maybe you consider it for a little bit just to see if maybe it could be a good option, but usually it's not if it's being presented as the only option. And in infinite thought form modalities, if you choose to utilize those, there is never, ever, ever a situation where there is only one option, or there is only two options, or there is only five, or maybe I should be saying are. There are only 100 options, or there are only 1,000 options. It's never limited. The option is there for you to limit down to 1 or 2 or 3 options if you wish, but that's another example of expanding out the possibility spectrum by nature of everything being infinite. Because every time someone is doing something, say they're outside with picket signs, right? They're out there within your little bubble thing that you're moving around in, and they're jumping up and down and yelling, basically, and they're saying, please pay attention to me, please give energy to me, please look at what I'm trying to say and take a stance on it, and please this, please that, please the other thing. And you never have to give your energy to anything. In fact, it's a totally viable option to stop giving energy whatsoever and not ever move the entire time you're here. Some people actually do that, and of course it causes sort of like havoc at first, because you're supposed to be doing things here, but there literally is no rule that says you must do this or you must do that, or you should do this or you shouldn't do that. Even in the most dire of situations, there is no rule saying must this or must that. There are only people either giving impressions, subtly or overtly stating you must do this or you must do that, or else they have created rule books and so on and so forth. But it's never a do or die must situation unless you believe it. If you believe it, then sure, that's what it has become for you. Everyone's always trying to sell you a system. In every situation that you come by, even somebody wearing a certain type of clothes, they're trying to sell you a system. Information is directly written in. Okay, I gotta go.